And I think that the first contributor will be Professor Cheng Enfu, who's going to be speaking to us through a video recording with the assistance of a translator. Cheng Enfu, of course, is a very well-known Marxist scholar, known around the world. He's an academician at the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences. He's a director of the Research Center for Economic and Social Development, principal professor at the University of the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, and familiar to many of us as president of the World Association of Political Economy, which brings together Marxist scholars from around the world in fascinating conferences, which I'd certainly recommend. He's also president of the Chinese Society of Foreign Economic Theories and a member of the People's Congress of China. He's going to be speaking to us through his translator, Zixu, and I hope that Liu, is everything ready? Is everything ready to show?
Yes. Yeah. So can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I will. My name is Liu Zixu, and I work in the Academy of Marxism, the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences. I will be presenting on behalf of Professor Cheng Enfu, and I will share with you his video. I hope it works well now. Okay. So, good evening from Beijing. Alberto Gabriel and Elias Gabriel's monograph on the economic development of several socialist countries in the 21st century deserves careful reading and great attention. In the following, I will address a few potentially controversial points on the subject of economic development in China and the Soviet Union as two examples of socialist countries in response to the misconceptions that have been prevailing in the world today. The first point I want to make here is that the Soviet Union has made great achievements in economic and social development. This year marks the 100th anniversary of the establishment of the Soviet Union, which is worth commemorating. However, because of the Gorbachev and Yeltsin leadership group's betrayal and the dissolution of the Soviet Union, the Western world generally denies the achievements in economic and social development of the Soviet Union. In my opinion, after the October Revolution, the Soviet Union, under the leadership of Lenin, established the dictatorship of the proletariat and the centralized democratic system, carried out large-scale economic, social, educational, and cultural construction, repelled the armed aggression of 14 capitalist countries, and developed a number of theories and successful practices for building socialism in one country under the siege of capitalist countries. Guided by Lenin's idea, the Soviet Union saw great achievements in economy, politics, education, science and technology, culture, health, people's livelihood, society, ecology, and national defense. Without the invasion and near destruction of the Soviet Union by fascist Germany with its monopolistic bourgeois totalitarian politics, or if the socialist Soviet Union had not been dismantled by a coup d'etat, the economic strength and the comprehensive national power of the Soviet Union at the beginning of the 21st century would have caught up with and surpassed that of the United States, which relied on internal exploitation and external plunder. The second point I want to make here is that China's economic and social development before the reform and opening up created what is called the first miracle. After comparing and analyzing a large number of domestic and foreign statistics, we can make this objective judgment that during the 100 years since the First Opium War, the economic and social development of the old China was extremely slow. And in general, it showed a backward, defeated, and poor state with decaying society. And the gap between its economic and social development and that of the major countries in the world had been widening. In the first 30 years of the new China, despite the unfavorable conditions, such as lack of experience in socialist construction, economic blockade by capitalist countries, rapid population growth, and aids to other countries, the pace of economic and social development in China was greatly accelerated, accompanied by a qualitative leap in the quality and structural layout of development, fundamentally reversing the trend of China's marginalization in the world system, and narrowing the economic gap with major countries in the world. And it has to be noted that China's choice of market economy was not based on any previous failure. It is more precise, it is more exact. The more precise evaluation should be that it happened when planned economy has fulfilled its tasks, and a different approach is needed in order to, for the next stage, in order to achieve better and faster development. As Yale professor Morris Meissner points out, in the post-war era, it has become fashionable to blow up and talk negatively about the blemishes of the historical record of the Mao era and to keep quiet about the achievements of his time. In fact, far from being the era of economic stagnation that is now commonly perceived, Mao's era saw one of the greatest modernization in world history, comparable with the most intense industrialization in several major latecomers in modern times, such as Germany, Japan, and Russia. The continuity and the two miracles in the 70 years of the People's Republic of China has been officially recognized in China by the Communist Party of China and by the mass of Chinese people. The third point here I want to make is that China's economic and social development after the reform and opening up has created its second miracle, and China has entered the rank of sub-middle-rich and powerful countries in the world. As of 2012, China's industrial output and foreign exchange reserves have leaped to the first place in the world. Total economic volume has steadily ranked second in the world. Its education, science, technology, and healthcare have developed significantly. People's livelihood has been tremendously improved from subsistence to moderately well off. Hong Kong and Macau have successfully returned to China, and its international status has been raised. The fourth point I want to make today is that the construction of socialism with Chinese characteristics in the new era since 2013 is creating the third economic miracle. China has entered the stage of moderately rich and strong country as a policy center in the world economic system. Its scientific, technological, economic, and ecological construction has jumped to a new level. Moreover, through the Belt and Road Initiative, BRICS, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, Asian Development Bank, and other international cooperation, it has contributed Chinese wisdom and provide Chinese solutions for human development, promoted the construction of a community of shared future for humanity with increased international appeal and influence. I confidently predict that if China basically achieves modernization in 2035, it will become one of the countries of sub-high wealth and wealthy and powerful in the center of the world economic system. If it achieves full modernization in 2050, it will be one of the top countries in the world economic system, which will break the monopoly of the world economic system by the old and the new imperialist and developed capitalist countries. The last point here I want to make is that the future socialist economy will develop better in the process of countering Western hegemony. Lenin's conclusion that imperialism is war is not outdated. Global and regional hegemonism easily leads to war. The Russian-Ukraine war that is happening today is a conflict triggered by the 5 illegal expansions eastward of NATO as an aggressive military group headed by the United States. And it is the result of Russia's being forced to counter the US Western hegemony, which will negatively affect the entire world economy and people's livelihood, except for the US military-industrial complex, which has greatly profited in this war. Since the US and the Western monopoly capitalist cannot be in China's socialist economy, in recent years, the US and the West have intensified their ganging up around China, cobbled together the Indo-Pacific version of NATO, established the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework Organization against China, and tried to provoke China's civil war for the unification of Taiwan through political and military provocations in order to impose comprehensive sanctions against China and hinder China's socialist modernization. However, that things contains opportunities towards a better situation. China has implemented a new development pattern based on domestic circulation and dual circulation, enhancing the degree of self-reliance, autonomy, self-sufficiency, and self-improvement of the national economy, and continuously establishing and improving new scientific and technological chains, industrial chains, supply chains, and economic and trade chains, which leads to better development of China's socialist national economy and people's livelihood. To conclude, I believe that the socialist market economies of Vietnam and Laos and the socialist planned economies of Cuba and North Korea, which are illegally blockaded by the US and the West, will all achieve greater economic and social development in the 21st century. And that's all of my presentation. Thank you very much.
I'm Michael Hudson. I'm appearing here for the International Manifesto Group. If you like this video and ones like it, please subscribe. For more information, go to the address on the screen.